The real gold and glory of our generation will be given to a newly emerging kind of person who is truly interested in change and is willing to take more risks with their career, betting on technologies whose availability and utility are uncertain. You need to be clear in yourself to survive the coming period of thought chaos, because it will make you question your perception, your awareness, your presence. What is natural? What is true? What is real? People who are distracted now will be even more distracted later. Pacific Ocean disappear. You stand at the edge of a chasm that's growing wider every day. You are living through the greatest wealth transfer in world history as the global market teeters at the precipice of Keynesian financial collapse. There is little time left. Market inefficiency is opportunity. All wealth transfer markets happen in context of rapid development. It's money on the table for anyone sharp and risk-tolerant. Either you make it big or get pushed out by the players who do, as it formalizes. Crypto is the greatest wealth transfer opportunity accessible to the common man in history. Dynasties are made this generation. You have to wake up. Cryptocurrency has achieved anarcho-capitalism by force, and all the wealth that comes from that. But it's not about money, it's resistance against the state. More boons will follow, and with it more counter-signaling from the powers that be. You need to be clear in yourself to survive the coming period of thought chaos. You must become immune to propaganda. The state intends to reduce their populations into slave cattle. This is what the contemporary culture war comes down to. The state is highly interested in extinguishing tech-enabled anarchist freedoms as it undermines their stranglehold on the propaganda complex. An existential necessity to hold power in democracy. Freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of the market, freedom of spirit. A wedge is being driven into the middle class. You are in danger of falling on the wrong side of the chasm. Are you in college? Drop out. Higher education is in a bubble supplied by subsidized debt. Degree inflation has diluted the value proposition of any ROI by reducing academia into a credential farm for the job market. Universities are heavily profit incentivized to promote this. Yet the bubble pops the moment the get a degree, earn more money narrative fails. Without being propped up by the government, universities would be bankrupt due to the inefficiency of higher academia being rerouted into career training. A poor replacement for the unserved STEM trade school niche. Grade inflation, class size inflation, affirmative action and foreign student imports have all worked. Eliminate the prestige and qualifying standards universities developed over the last half-century. And in turn, replication crisis affects nearly every field. Academia is a joke. Recruiters do not care about your degree. Your same student loan placed in an index fund outperforms your degree in the same time. You've made a mistake, and you're paying for it. University used to be a funnel for all the smartest minds of the generation. But now it's a certainty, it's where you won't find any. Why waste your time in classrooms? Internet has made effective autodidactism more accessible than any other time in history. No one learns in university. The classes are a joke. If you struggle with them, you're a joke. They're not hard, you're just depressed. Depression is a sin. Get out of bed. The most value you could ever get out of university is networking with bright minds. Yet you can network with far greater scale, volume, and filters online. The future is unevenly distributed. You need to start paying attention to where the world has moved, or you will be left behind. College is a gov-propped debt farm that extracted trillions in value from the youth every year with a primary of propaganda distribution. That's all it's been for decades. And the music is stopping now. The market is correcting. The real future of academia and schooling will belong to digital and physical learning networks. And glorified degree farms will be replaced by effective vocational schools. Stop wasting your time. There is no time. If you aren't aggressively pursuing, make it plays. If you are content waging or in school towards that, you're never going to make it. Wasting away in school or waging, instead of maximizing exposure to valuable equity, is an immense opportunity cost you can't afford to leave on the table. Risk aversion is the ceiling of the middle class. 2. The wealth gap is growing insurmountably. 3. At a rate wages are not. 4. USD is an inflationary shitcoin. $2 million net worth will be middle class in 5 years. If you've not already made it, this is your only chance to cross over the chasm. There is no safe path. Waging a slow death. You are in danger. You're in danger. You are in. An astrologer foretells that the king will die in 1 month. The king is crushed and falls sick with despair. His most trusted knight summons the astrologer before the king and asks him, "When will you die?" 20 years from now, the astrologer answers. The knight beheads immediately. Securing and maintaining wealth is not complicated. It's a matter of the soul. You need to be clear in yourself. Most people are allergic to money. I believe they subconsciously fumble their wealth intentionally because they know they don't deserve it. Wealth comes to the virtuous. Wealth always comes in windfalls. You have to maximize your exposure to it. It comes down to positioning. Wealth falls from the sky, so we place baskets to catch them. You must position yourself by maximizing luck, opportunity exposure, risk forwardness, and leveraging existing capital. Whenever anyone copes about luck, remember luck can be optimized. If there's dumb luck, there is also smart luck. Luck is a stat that you can farm, and you can get bonus multipliers to max out rewards when Lady Luck does hit. Maintaining wealth simply comes from the balance of securing profits in risk off assets versus capital deployment to further lever up your bag against the slow burn. You cannot survive through cowardliness and miserliness. You must have a clear and courageous mind to survive. Wealth is the right of the virtuous. Karma is real at every level. All presumptions are manifested. You receive the world what you give to it. You must escape the spiritual poverty of scarcity by embracing a mindset of abundance regardless of real means. Knowing wealth of all types will follow. People suffer for their sins in a living hell. Some people are meant to be poor. Many are not. They have the intellect to escape it, but wallow in sins of despondency, sloth, and insecurity, envy. Without both agency and virtue, intellect is unactionable. Instead of resolving the problems in their life, preventing them from the success they feel they're owed, they try to externalize the blame because they're weak. And it takes courage to blame yourself rather than coping. In this way, they're not simply materially poor, but spiritually. Wealth comes to those who deserve it like a metal to a magnet, and escapes the sinful like oil and water. The future belongs to those who take risks, network, and prioritize self-education. Virtue is the key to success in a world plagued by sin. You must be virtuous to survive. Virtue is a program for living well, formalized for low-time preference, long-term success, a traditionalist heuristic against the innate cognitive biases of human irrationality. Virtue is efficacy. Virtue is also a self-manifesting external signal to the network. By being virtuous, others know you will succeed and will support you, while you naturally curate out the non-virtuous. Your network ascends together, exponentially. Virtue always finds friends. The Occident's adoption of a castrated slave morality, pushed by the intentionally diminutive state, has led to a crisis of virtue. This is opportunity for you, as success comes easily to the virtuous few. You just need to be clear in yourself to survive. You have to have the courage to cut your own path. Others will try to drag you down. You have to be stronger than them. You can't get distracted now. There is no time. The deadly sins of Catholicism is a good inverse moral compass. Gluttony, lust, greed, sloth, despair, wrath, envy, pride. Look around. Anyone complicit in them are punished for it with dreadful lives. Think of your enemies. Think of the failures you know in life. Count the sins they commit. Eliminate sin from your life. Study Aristotle's matrix of virtues. Study it closely, review it at night, and thinking back on your actions each day. If you strive to keep virtue in mind in your daily actions, you cannot fail. This is what I measure myself and others. By virtuous actions earn karmic points that automatically accrue, compounding spiritual interest. Start now. Virtue brings you wealth, but being wealthy does not mean you are virtuous. Most aren't, and they will lose their wealth within generations. Despite existing in the aristocratic frame of burdenlessness, most of the born rich today are largely listless and unproductive, or otherwise caught in mind traps. The self-destructive parasitic mimetic complexes midwits are often consumed by, that takes otherwise virtuous and intelligent people and diverts them into wasting their time. This is almost as detestable as the resentful poor, for they squander their inheritance, fumbling their dynasty. Their fumble is your opportunity. People who are distracted now will be even more distracted later. All of pre-modern history and achievement was the result of the aristocracy, which across all civilized society shared a similar mores of encouraging artistry or other meaningful pursuits, in competition for pride among each other. This quality has been lost as the Western world increasingly succumbs to the slave morality that prides in weakness and discourages courage and achievement. Yet, a new aristocracy emerges in the digital age, a agentic need, who, exactly like the aristocrats of old, enjoy freedom from burden, with access to all the resources needed to autodidact themselves in the humanities and sciences, and the ability to network a culture of collective development. This is a group that interests me, the intelligent and free. The question is, will they choose achievement or sloth, dynasty or slavery? 这种品质已经丧失，因为西方世界越来越去赋予以软弱为荣、圈足勇气和成就的努力道德。然而，数字时代出现了一个新的贵族阶层，即具有行动力的 NEET 无业、无学、无培训者。他们与旧时代的贵族完全一样，享受着无负担的自由。拥有自学人文和科学所需的所有资源，并能够建立一个集体发展的文化网络。 这个群体让我感兴趣，他们是聪明而自由的。问题是，他们会选择成就，还是懒惰？王朝，还是努力？